A very important tool in the toolbox of deploying yourself is the loyalties map. Loyalties map is a diagram that in 5 simple steps allow you to gather and analyze critical information about yourself when dealing with a challenge in your life. Imagine, for example, that you're stuck on something and that there is something you don't know how to do. Here is where the loyalties map can help you. How does the loyalty map works? We actually work and is a tool based on these key ideas. The idea being that our behaviors, belief, ideas, values, and ways of doing things in life, they don't come from thin air. They instead come from someone who has taught us about those things sometime in our lifetime. So in a sense, this is an archaeology, a personal archaeology. You're trying to find the traces of important people in your life. Why is mapping loyalties important? Because you work to try to understand from whom those behavior, beliefs, and ways of doing things come from. And this in itself helps us, one, understanding who we are more deeply. Two, evaluating the influence of those loyalties in our life and in our way of leading. And more importantly, help us redefine and give us the freedom, if we want, to redefine who we are and how we lead. Now, here's an example of loyalties and how the loyalties map can help. Imagine, for example, that you have an issue at work with confronting your employees about their lack of initiative. You can put conflict and confrontation in the middle of the diagram and think about what are the people in your life that you have learned important lesson about conflict and confrontation. And of course, those people come from different areas in your life. For example, for your family life, maybe you learned something from your mother, for your friend, from your first boss, for your second grade teacher, from your aunt. The next step is to think about direct quotes of what these people have actually taught you on this topic. For example, let's say that your aunt was telling you always you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, or your friend Jessica has always said that a lady never argues in public, or do not confront, instead try to first to understand. I mean, those implicit lessons or direct quote from people represent loyalties that continue to have an influence in our life and that have an impact on how today we are dealing with conflict and confrontation. Now, ultimately, the loyalties map, once they are completely fixed and completely filled, help us identify what is the lasting influence of my loyalties in my current situation. And a very harder question, a further question, an advanced question, after we have identified those loyalties, is to ask, what would it take to refashion those loyalties, those feeling of obligation, without betraying those loyalty or betraying myself?